Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is the Newshour special edition and I am Heena Gambhir. Viewers, the oath of an Indian Prime Minister says, I will faithfully discharge my duties as a Prime Minister for the Union and that I will do right to all manner of people in accordance with the Constitution. The Constitution of India has laid down the tenets which make the Prime Minister's post religion, region and caste neutral. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas embodies the spirit of neutrality. Irrespective of the color of the ideology of the party a PM comes from. But it's not so simple. In 2022, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hosted prominent Sikhs at his residence. Congress party called it a poll gimmick. In 2023, he hosted a Christmas event. Congress branded it as event management. Last year, in fact in December, he joined Christmas celebrations at an invite by Catholic Bishops' Conference of India. The ecosystem criticized the invitation. And the latest from 2025 viewers is over a ceremonial chadar sent to the Ajmer Sharif Dargah by the Prime Minister. Now, Prime Minister Modi deputed his Minority Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju to present a chadar on his behalf during the Urs of Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti, a 13th century Sufi saint. Union Minority Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju visited the revered Ajmer Dargah to present a ceremonial chadar on behalf of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Rijiju described it as a timeless gesture of faith, unity and peace that inspires millions. At the revered shrine, he launched the Dargah web portal, the Garib Nawaz app, which are aimed at ensuring a seamless experience for pilgrims. Additionally, the Union Minister released the operations manual of Urs to make the sacred journey for pilgrims more and more meaningful. He also read out a message from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Listen in.
प्रधानमंत्री का संदेश पढ़ूंगा। गरीब नवाज के 813वें उर्स मुबारक के अवसर पर दुनिया भर में उनके अनुयायियों और अजमेर शरीफ में आए सभी श्रद्धालुओं को हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। विभिन्न कालखंडों में हमारे संतों, पीरों, फकीरों व महापुरुषों ने अपने कल्याणकारी विचारों से जन जन के जीवन को आलोकित किया। इस कड़ी में ख्वाजा मोइनुद्दीन चिश्ती के लोक कल्याण वो मानवता से जुड़े संदेशों ने लोगों पर अमिट छाप छोड़ी है और उनके प्रति विश्व भर में लोगों की गहरी आस्था है।
Now viewers, the head of the Ajmer Dargah welcomed this gesture of unity and brotherhood. Listen in.
प्रधानमंत्री जी की चादर का हम लोग खैर मकदम करते हैं और ये हिंदुस्तान की एक परंपरा रही है कि जब से भारत आज़ाद हुआ है 1947 के बाद से जो भी प्रधानमंत्री हुए हैं उन्होंने गरीब नवाज के दरबार में अकीदत के तौर पे अपनी चादर को भेजा है। और हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी जब से प्रधानमंत्री हुए 2014 से चादर भेज रहे हैं, यहाँ पर उस परिपाटी को, उस परंपरा को निभा रहे हैं। और हमारे मोदी जी हिंदुस्तान की परंपरा के साथ साथ हिंदुस्तान की जो संस्कृति सभ्यता है उसको भी फॉलो कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हिंदुस्तान की संस्कृति सभ्यता ये कहती है कि सबका, हर मजहब का सम्मान होना चाहिए।
Now, this act of the Prime Minister, viewers, hasn't gone down well with AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi. He has questioned the sincerity of Prime Minister's gesture. He charged that while Prime Minister Modi was sending a chadar to Ajmer Dargah, his supporters were going to the courts with pleas targeting mosques and dargahs across the country. Viewers, you may recall there was a time when Prime Minister had faced criticism from the same opposition for allegedly stopping the traditional iftar at the homes of those who hold constitutional posts. BJP hit back at Asaduddin Owaisi, accusing him of spreading hatred and focusing on vote bank appeasement, even in this noble gesture by Prime Minister Modi. Listen in.
हर उनका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कोर्ट को जा रहा है कि यहाँ पर खुदाई हो, यहाँ पर खुदाई हो, ये मस्जिद नहीं है, ये दरगाह नहीं है, ये खबरस्तान नहीं है, तो ये सिर्फ चादर भिजाने से कुछ फायदा नहीं होगा।
देखिए, असदुद्दीन ओवैसी हर जगह नफरत ढूंढते हैं, हर जगह वोट ढूंढते हैं, वो भी तुष्टीकरण वाला। प्रधानमंत्री लगातार 11 साल से अजमेर शरीफ चादर भेज रहे हैं, वो सौहार्द की चादर है, भाईचारा की चादर है, जो हमारा मूल मंत्र है भारतीय जनता पार्टी का, सबका साथ सबका विकास, उसको जमीन पे चरितार्थ करते हैं। अपीजमेंट पॉलिटिक्स करने वाले जो लोग हैं, उन्हें डर लगता है कि कहीं हमारा वोट ना खिसक जाए।
Now, we will like to add here, viewers, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has kept alive the tradition of sending a chadar to the Ajmer Sharif Dargah since assuming the office in 2014. In fact, this is the 11th time he has participated in this ceremonial gesture. And I want to ask tonight, does the opposition want the Prime Minister and his office to abdicate its religion, region and caste neutrality? Is there a need to criticize and politicize a national tradition followed by one of the highest constitutional offices in the country? Should customs that symbolize harmony be jettisoned because this suits the opposition? That's the debate on the Newshour this evening, and we are joined by Rahul Ishwar, who is an activist, Desh Ratan Nigam, who is a lawyer, Kamru Choudhary, who is a political analyst, and Danish Qureshi, who is a political analyst as well. Good evening to all of you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us here on this debate on Times Now. Danish Qureshi, I'd like to begin this discussion with you. Why every outreach, I showed some examples in my opening intro, is either politicized or criticized? I want to ask you.
I think the problem with Mr. Modi is that कि जब से वो प्रधानमंत्री बने तब से तो हम मुसलसल देख रहे हैं कि अजमेर शरीफ में तो हर बार उनकी चादर जाती है, लेकिन चूंकि हम बहुत अच्छे से वाकिफ हैं, मैं खुद गुजरात से हूं और मैंने उनका मुख्यमंत्री के तौर का कार्यकाल भी हमने देखा है। हमने वो दिन भी देखे हैं जब मुख्यमंत्री जो थे वो ईद की मुबारकबादी तक भी नहीं दिया करते थे, जिसकी मतलब हमेशा से क्रिटिसिज्म होता रहा है। तो वो तो उनकी जो जहनियत है या जो सोच है वो बिल्कुल साफ तौर पर नजर आती है। लेकिन सबसे बड़ा इश्यू जो आगे खड़ा है कि अब जो फोर्सेस हैं वो जाके अदालत तक में पहुंची हैं और ये चीजें जो दिखाती हैं वो ये साफ तौर पे नजर आती हैं कि पीएम ऑफिस में ये शायद मुझे लगता है कि मोदी जी की, चाहे आप समझे कि मजबूरी है या जो भी है, इनको चादर भेजना पड़ता है क्योंकि उनके समर्थक या उनकी मदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो है वो इस तरह के लाइक्स में नहीं पड़ती और इसी वजह से ये सारा प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट हो रहा है।
Okay, so you think ये एक मजबूरी है, it's a compulsion? Rahul Ishwar, how will you like to respond?
As a Gandhian activist, I am thrilled and excited. It is a goosebump moment for me because, you know, Narendra Modi ji has kept up the tradition. Please remember, this is nothing new. Narendra Modi ji has been continuing this for 11 years. Earlier, Sri Murli Manohar Joshi, who is an ideological stalwart, has participated. LK Advani ji, so I am gaya hai. So, you know, Ajmer Dargah is a great space for, you know, India's syncretic tradition, India's Sufi heritage. And when PM does something good, why don't people see the positive of it? They are always jumping on the negative aspect of it. PM is sending a great message of bhaichara, of Hindu-Muslim unity, of brotherhood. So such things should be celebrated. And it is a great moment of pride for India that Prime Minister himself has sent a senior minister like Kiren Rijiju, send a message, send the chadar. So rather than seeing positive in such things, they are nitpicking negative things. Pujaniya Sarsang Chalak Mohan Bhagwat ji also said there is no need to search for a shivling under every mosque. So all the great leaders have been giving out the message of Sabka Saath, of harmony, of taking a Gandhian line. But those people who are cynics cannot see the good of anything. Whenever, if there is a minute negative, they will pounce upon it. But when there is a mountain of positivity, they ignore it. This is hyper selectivity. I hope for the sake of India, our opposition should be more open-minded and appreciate PM for continuing such great traditions.
Kamru Choudhary, is compulsion because you are in the opposition? Is that the compulsion that there is hyper selectivity, as Rahul Ishwar mentioned? Is the opposition now going to decide the role and the mandate of the Prime Minister's office?
No, Heena, we never criticized Vajpayee ji sending chadars to the Ajmer Sharif. Can you please correct the echo, please? Its echo is coming.
Okay.
In. Okay. Thank you. So basically the point out here, Heena, you must understand, इन हिंदी एक कहावत है, हाथी का दिखाने का दांत होता है और खाने का दांत होता है। तो आज जो मोदी जी ने किया चादर चढ़ाकर, वो है दिखाने का दांत है। और खाने का दांत किसको बोलते हैं? जैसे आज इन्होंने रमेश बिदूरी को, जिन्होंने मुसलमानों को इस तरह से अपमान किया पार्लियामेंट के अंदर, उसको एक टिकट देकर, या तो फिर राजा सिंह जो इनका पार्टी के एमएलए है, एंड दिस सेम गाय सेज दैट डोंट विजिट द मॉस्क व्हाइल विजिटिंग तिरुमला, visiting the Sabarimala temple. So these are the people there. They're the party leaders, MPs, their policies, they all suggest a different angle, different altogether. Even what RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has suggested, now the radicals within the Bharatiya Janata Party and
Kamru Choudhary,
refusing to even
I want to interrupt here. I want to interrupt here because you brought like too many issues into a simple question that I asked you. Let me rephrase my question to you, because I'm not discussing Delhi here, I'm not discussing anything else here. I'm discussing a very, very simple thing, that there is a mandate that a Prime Minister's office holds, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is performing his duties as per the mandate. Why is the opposition criticizing and politicizing what he is doing as the Prime Minister of the country? He's not just the Prime Minister of the BJP, or a certain section of this country. He is the Prime Minister of everybody in this country. Why politicize and criticize everything that he is doing is my question to you. Do you want him to behave like the leader of the BJP, or you want him to behave as the Prime Minister of this country? Because when he does, when he performs his duties as the Prime Minister of this country, then it is criticized. We heard what Mr. Danish Qureshi had to say. So you respond to that question of mine first.
No. Heena, I know you are getting agitated because
I am not at all getting agitated. I was only explaining to you my question because I believe you couldn't understand it earlier.
Yeah, I know. I understood fully well, but it's not so simple an answer that you can expect from me, because it's much more complex. The deep state ecosystem in India that is operating against a particular section, led by none other than the RSS and the BJP, needs to be answering a simple question. Why are the Muslim population and the minority population of this country not voting for you? Because of your hate speeches, because the Prime Minister is complicit with his silence in not condemning elements like the Goli Maro Salonko and the loose elements like Mr. Vishnu Jain or the Hindu Sena, who go to the court to find a temple beneath the Ajmer Dargah. So these are the questions. You bring in policies, laws like the abolition of the Waqf Act.
I really don't think you have an answer to my question. So let me go across to Desh Ratan Nigam now. You said it's a very complicated issue. Let me go across to Desh Ratan Nigam now, because it is, the role that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is playing, the duties that he has as the Prime Minister. Of course, you can question his policies, but what he is doing as the Prime Minister of this country is being politicized and criticized. I want to ask why, because, the head of the Dargah has welcomed this message of brotherhood. What is he doing? He could have not sent the Chadar, he could have discontinued the tradition, but he continued the tradition. Now you have a problem with that also. Desh Ratan Nigam, your response.
Heena, in fact, if you look at the entire ecosystem, the political one in this country, the so-called Muslim leaders think it is their monopoly over Muslim vote bank. So if anything which is done by the Prime Minister and which appeals to the Muslims, they get agitated, they get shaken. And therefore the criticism arises, whether it is OSC, whether it is Congress or otherwise. The Prime Minister has maintained a very fine balance, whether it's meeting with the Pope or calling Christian priests and bishops at his residence, or meeting the Sufi saints, or while being at the inauguration of the Ram Mandir, Pran Pratishtha of Ram Mandir. So that is what his duties and responsibilities are, and he's got to take the entire nation with him. And that is where the opposition gets very shaky and agitated. That is some kind of an insecurity complex that they have. So anything which he'll do is they'll have to criticize, and they'll make it a very simple thing into a very complex affair, difficult to be answered, you know. So that is the problem with the ecosystem that we are developing. Instead of working along with the Prime Minister in assimilating the Muslims, which the local leaders of the Muslims are trying to, take them away from the mainstream, and the Prime Minister is trying to get them into mainstream. The fact remains they don't want that. They want that polarization to remain there, so they have that exclusive ownership of the vote bank of the Muslims, and then they can claim that we represent the Muslims solely and only them, and nobody else has the right to represent Muslims. This is where they have a problem. They'll bring RSS, they'll bring all kinds of people. Yes, people are going to the courts. That's a judicial process available to the court. Supreme Court has stated we have also have to obey and follow it. The fact remains you cannot take away anybody's fundamental judicial and legal rights to approach the court for redressal of their grievances. And these people also have a problem with that you can't go to the court. I mean, we have a vibrant judicial system which takes care of all the issues, grievances, and dispute resolution. But they don't want that. So that is the whole issue. Some kind of an insecurity, some kind of a fear-mongering to create that, appeasement of atmosphere, convert them into an exclusive minority vote for which they claim ownership.
Danish Qureshi, please respond. Who is really focusing on votes here is the question.
No, this is not about fear mongering. देश रतन निगम जी जो कह रहे हैं, मैं तो उनकी बात से इत्तेफाक नहीं रखता हूँ. सवाल आके ये खड़ा है कि जो काम करने की पद्धति है भारतीय जनता पार्टी और खास करके नरेंद्र मोदी जी की बात की जाए तो मैं आपको वही दिखा रहा था कि ये देखिए, ये टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया का आर्टिकल है जिसमें बकायदा ये कहा गया कि आप देखिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी जो है ईद की मुबारकबाद तक देने से परहेज करते रहे. खैर, उनकी मुबारकबाद देने से मुसलमानों की जिंदगी में कोई बहुत ज्यादा फर्क आ जाने वाला नहीं है, लेकिन इतने बड़े पद पर बैठने के बावजूद
जी, ये आप एग्जाम्पल जो मुझे दिखा रहे हैं, उसके बाद जब वो चादर भेजते हैं अजमेर शरीफ में, तब भी आपको प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है. तब आप देखिए AIMIM चीफ का क्या बयान आया है. तो अगर वो करे तो भी प्रॉब्लम, कुछ नहीं करे तो भी प्रॉब्लम, तो जाए कहां?
नहीं, मैं बताऊं कहां जाएं. मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि जो चादर, जिस आस्था के साथ उन्होंने चादर भेजी है प्रधानमंत्री PMO हाउस से जो गई है, मेरी गुजारिश ये है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट पे भी बात कह दे कि उसी दरगाह के लिए मतलब ये चादर जा रही है जहां पे प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट लागू होगा.
The opposition should now decide what the Prime Minister's role should be, what the mandate of the Prime Minister's office should be, isn't it?
See, please remember, the world, especially our world, is in shortage of positivity and goodness. Whenever anybody does anything positive in India or the world, we should be promoting it, encouraging it, supporting it, and hailing it. We know the problem is there are many people who are negative-minded. See, PM Modi, if he really wanted, he could have easily revoked Places of Worship Act. It's hardly a 8-paragraph stuff which came in 1991 by Narasimha Rao government. If Modi ji or Amit Shah ji really wanted, just the next day they could have easily revoked it. And please remember, Supreme Court asked them 8 times. Very cautiously and very sensibly, central government has resisted taking a particular position, keeping in sensitivities of so many people. And please remember, Modi ji is continuously attacked by our ultra right-wing brothers and friends for not taking a position on this. There are many people in our right-wing spectrum who are strongly against Modi ji, saying that Modi ji is not doing enough. And on the other side, these people are saying Modi ji is not doing enough. I think Modi ji कुछ तो ठीक कर रहा होगा, इसलिए all the extreme people are against Modi ji. So this is a very positive thing that Modi ji is doing. Please encourage whenever he meets Pope. He represents India. So, and he requested, especially being from Kerala, where we have a sizable Christian community, our Christian brothers were very excited and proud that our PM went and met Pope. So these kind of things, or even please look at the Muslim nations. A Congress leader like Shashi Tharoor went on record to say India's relationship with the Middle East and Muslim nations have never been better. Please remember, it has been the best under Narendra Modi, said by a senior Congress leader, a cosmopolitan like Shashi Tharoor, who is respected worldwide. So look at the positives. Yes, we are a 140 crore populated nation. We will have problems. So let us have the attitude of solving it, resolving it, coming to a consensus. That's the way to move ahead. So Modi ji does 98% good things, 2% debatable things. You are only focusing on those 2% and ignoring the 98% things. Is a criticism that opposition should be serious. Otherwise, Sri Rahul Gandhi or anybody in opposition should have said, see, Modi ji, this is a very good gesture. We appreciate and we are with you in this.
Absolutely. That's why, the question tonight being asked is that should customs that symbolize harmony be jettisoned because it suits the opposition? And Kamru Choudhary, I wanted you to respond. I know you were earlier raising your hand as well, but I have a question for you. A UPA government affidavit once famously called Lord Ram a mythical creation, but does that take away the rights of Congress leaders from visiting the Hindu temples?
No, absolutely not. Everybody has got his own way to practice religion. I have got my own way. You have got your own way. But it's not that you let loose elements like Vishnu Jain who go around the country, file cases in the courts.
I'm talking about the Prime Minister here, and I have again asked you a very specific question, and I don't think, Kamru Choudhary, you have a response to that. I'm not discussing Vishnu Jain
I'm coming to you. I
asked you a question on a UPA government affidavit and what it once said about Lord Ram.
That's the context. I'm coming.
I'm not discussing Vishnu Jain here. I'm not discussing anything else. You have an answer to my question?
No, I'm not. I'm telling why I brought him is the context to the entire debate. That's the question the country is asking of
you. Want him to behave like a BJP leader, or you want him to behave like the Prime Minister of the country? You answer my question now. No, I have simplified it even further for you.
Anna, will you please give me just 30 seconds to explain my position?
Okay.
Basically, what's my grouse with Narendra Modi is he remains very silent when elements like Vishnu Jain, when elements like Ramesh Biduri, elements like Raja Singh or Parvesh Verma or Goli Maro type elements spew venom in the country, but then Narendra Modi remains silent.
Okay.
These people are rewarded. Why I said Vishnu Jain? He is an advocate of the government in Uttar Pradesh and the center also.
Again, you have no answer to the question that I asked you. So let me take that question across to Desh Ratan Nigam. A UPA government, Desh Ratan Nigam, I'm sure you must have heard of it, must have read it as well, had famously called Lord Ram a mythical creation. That did not take away rights from the Congress leaders from visiting temples. Then why always question when Prime Minister has an outreach of the kind that we saw today via, sending this Chadar to Ajmer Sharif?
See, Prime Minister believes in moderate version of Islam, and Sufi represent that version. That is what probably some of the Maulvis, Maulanas and political leaders don't like that. And secondly, Congress calling Lord Ram a mythical character have cost them a lot. It's creating the concept of a saffron terror where there was none. And also, immediately after the Mumbai conclave of Indic Alliance, some of their partners started calling Hindu malaria, Hindu Sanatan Dharma malaria, dengue, and it has to be wiped out. So you can understand their, the inclination and the mindset of some of the opposition leaders that if you attack Hindus, you will get Muslim votes. I think those days are gone. Every religion or every panth has to stand on its own merit and convince. If there are hate speech in the scriptures, you have to give it up because you are living in the universal modern world today, which believes in universal values. It does not believe in the narrow concepts. Some of the Western countries are facing problems. They are also applying their mind. So today we are in a system, an ecosystem where negativity, as Rahul Ishwar said, has to be thrown out of the window. And the positive aspects of our society, which believes in social harmony, and believe me, social harmony is not a one-way street. Everybody has to walk that street and hold each other's hand. To say that it is only the job of the majority, no, it is everybody's, because Muslims are a second majority in this country today, a huge population. So everybody has got to respect each other. If the Prime Minister is taking the initiative, we got to stand with him. And we given the world, what happened in Gaza, the situation that arose, and compare it how the
Right.
Kashmir was tackled, the difference, the way the Kashmir was tackled. So this is our way of handling the complex situations, not to make simple situations as very complex ones, as the Congress spokesperson today on your channel was saying. Let's
Right.
simplify the complex issues and have
not
a solution
indulge
of
in
problem.
fear-mongering for sure.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
completely out of time, but I'd like to thank all my guests for joining us on this important debate tonight. Rahul Ishwar, Desh Ratan Nigam, Kamru Choudhary and Danish Qureshi. Appreciate all of you for joining us here on debate number 1. Heading into a short break, debate number 2 coming up on the other side. Stay with us.
The News Hour Special Edition.